fried chicken. It's not the type of dish that one typically associates with fine dining. However, the renowned 2 Michelin star New York City restaurant The Modern offers a bucket of fried chicken and fries on their barroom menu. I love fried chicken and I just had to try it. Plus, I enjoyed a few other notable courses from the restaurant as well.
Today, it's a pretty pleasant day here in New York City. Right now I'm doing a little relaxing at Central Park, but earlier in the day I had quite a nice lunch. Although even before my lunch, there was some unexpected excitement. An earthquake struck New York. I've never been in an earthquake before and it came quite as a surprise. Anyways, when I came here to Manhattan, I went to lunch at the 2 Michelin starred restaurant, The Modern. Now, The Modern is basically 2 restaurants in one. In one section of the establishment, there's a luxurious multi-course tasting menu that's offered. In the other, the bar room, food is offered a la carte and it's a bit more casual, but still is very refined. Now, I've been to the bar room at The Modern before. I was there for Restaurant Week and I had a phenomenal experience. The food was excellent. For my visit to The Modern today, I went there specifically for one certain dish. I, like most people with taste buds, love fried chicken. When I found out that The Modern added a bucket of fried chicken to their barroom menu, well, I had to go try it. I mean, with fried chicken, it's not one of those dishes that you think of when you think of fine dining. Because of that, I was really intrigued when I saw that The Modern added that dish to their menu. So this was my lunch, consuming a 2 Michelin starred bucket of fried chicken and fries, along with a few other courses at The Modern.
The Modern is located right alongside the Museum of Modern Art in Midtown Manhattan. The restaurant opened in 2005 from Danny Meyer's Union Square Hospitality Group. Right off the bat, The Modern garnered praise and solid reviews, but it was in the 2016 Michelin Guide that the restaurant gained its 2nd Michelin star. I arrived to the restaurant about 10 minutes after it opened for lunch. On my previous visit to the bar room, I sat at one of the tables and certainly enjoyed myself, but this time, and since I was a walk-in, I decided to give the bar a try. I've always enjoyed the look of the bar room. It's nice and open and is complemented by a lively atmosphere. Although, and this was unique for the day, every so often you would hear an emergency alert notification regarding the day's earthquake going off on someone's phone. Taking a look at the menu, the bar room offers a fine selection of courses, but I knew what I was getting, the fried chicken of course. However, the dish isn't listed on the main menu, rather it's a feature on a small list of snacks inside the beverage menu. I feel that a number of diners might not have even been aware of the fried chicken, as I had a few people come up to me asking what I ordered when I was enjoying the chicken later during my lunch. Another item on the menu that intrigued me were the $38 caviar hot dogs, which certainly made the $29 hot dog I had at the now sadly closed Misha seem more affordable, but those hot dogs will have to be for next time. Next, I examined the beverage offerings, and since I was getting fried chicken, the logical pairing was champagne, of course. Although, since my drink wasn't actually from France's Champagne region, it was technically sparkling wine. I got a glass of the Jan's Premium Cuvée from Tasmania, Australia. It was crisp and clean and definitely an enjoyable beverage that paired nicely with the fried chicken that I would have later. First up, however, was the bread, and it was very interesting. The dish had a unique form and was topped with a za'atar seasoning. Alongside the bread, I believe was a cup of a sort of Gruyere cheese dip. The bread by itself was top-notch. It was warm and fresh with a great flavor. I loved the za'atar seasoning, although it was a bit messy and I did quite the number on my napkin, but the mess was of course worth it. Things got even more interesting when I combined the bread with the dip, which was savory and delicious. I also liked how the shape of the bread lent different textural sensations, as the thinner parts were crispier while the thicker sections were fluffier. Overall, the bread was great, and I really appreciate the effort the establishment puts into their bread, even though it's free. Now, I understand why a lot of restaurants charge for bread these days, but the fact that The Modern is always changing their bread and making it interesting at no extra cost to the customer is admirable. Before my chicken, I enjoyed an appetizer. It was the Tart flambe topped with bacon and onions. The dish, also known as flammkuchen, is a specialty of the Alsace region of France and is kind of like a pizza. My first bite was overwhelmingly good. Simply put, I wasn't expecting to be blown away by the tart like I was. It was truly fantastic. First off, the base of the dish was perfectly executed. It was crispy, buttery, flaky, and sort of croissant-like. It was a pure textural delight. The toppings on top of the tart were just as amazing. There were eggs, cheese, and bacon. It was savory, rich, and well balanced. Each piece of the tart was a joy to eat. Plus, the fact that it's cut into slices makes it a nice dish for sharing. Although I was pretty glad to be eating that one alone, I sure as hell wouldn't want to share a single crumb of it. My lunch was off to a great start, and I hadn't even tried the dish that brought me to the restaurant in the first place, but that was about to come. Soon enough, I was presented with the bucket of fried chicken and fries along with a cup of a dill dipping sauce. Presentation-wise, the restaurant nailed it. It wasn't some artfully arranged pristine plate of chicken, but a fun, paper bucket of food reminding one of establishments like KFC. Plus, the fact that there was even an amusing sort of sketch on the bucket made for another nice touch. However, in the end, it all comes down to flavor. My first bite was very enjoyable, but the chicken was also pretty hot. It was clear that the dish was fresh out of the fryer. Now, the Modern's fried chicken isn't a mix of the standard pieces like legs and thighs, but rather a collection of boneless chunks that vary in size. While I do typically prefer the bone-in variety, the Modern's offering was still delicious. It was nice and juicy, but the crispy and texturally satisfying skin was what really made the dish. The skin was coated with a sweet honey sort of glaze, which I really liked. In fact, the chicken didn't even need the dipping sauce, but I love dill and I really appreciated what the sauce did for the chicken. The herbal taste of the dill combined with the slightly sweet honey glazed skin made for a delightful and refreshing combination. Plus, being able to have that glass of champagne, sparkling wine on the side, certainly made for one of the most luxurious fried chicken eating experiences that I've ever had. Beneath the chicken were the fries, and there were a lot of fries. In fact, a more appropriate description of the dish would be a bucket of fries topped with chicken. Luckily, the fries were really good. They were pretty short and thin, but perfectly crisp, nicely salted, and full of flavor. Plus, and just like the chicken, the fries went very well with the dill dipping sauce. Overall, the Modern's bucket of fried chicken and fries was delicious. I really appreciate that such a renowned restaurant would add a very casual dish like fried chicken to their menu. Simply put, I would love to see more fine dining establishments offer fried chicken and give the beloved dish the respect it deserves. In fact, I'm really excited to try the recently opened Cocodac from the Michelin Stars steakhouse Côte. Cocodac seems to be a veritable temple dedicated to fried chicken. But for the moment, I really enjoyed the Modern's fried chicken offering. To finish my lunch, I had to get a dessert. There were some nice options, but ultimately I settled on the banana pudding, and it wasn't like any version of the dish that I've ever had.
A white chocolate yuzu lemon disc on top.
Nice.
The caramel backstrap sauce and cookies.
The banana pudding consisted of yuzu and a blackstrap rum sauce which was poured tableside. When I think of a banana pudding, I think of a creamy concoction filled with Nilla wafers and the like. Just looking at the Modern's offering, I wouldn't suspect that it's a banana pudding, although the pictures of bananas on top of the white chocolate disc at least give some indication the fruit has something to do with the treat. But regarding the flavor, the bananas really came through as the center of the tart was filled with a creamy and rich concoction of bananas. Texturally, the crisp sides of the tart along with the white chocolate disc gave the dessert a bit of variation in mouthfeel and were delicious aspects themselves. My favorite part of the dish, however, was the rich and caramely blackstrap rum sauce that went so perfectly with the banana flavors. Basically, that was a fantastic dessert, but it was still very different from the traditional style of a banana pudding. Nevertheless, I loved it and it was a great ending to a truly satisfying lunch. Finally, it was time for the bill, which totaled to $92.55, but with my tip, I spent about $110. Now that wasn't cheap, but in comparison to other Manhattan fine dining restaurants and considering the quality of everything, I thought that that was a pretty fair price for what I got. It certainly was a satisfying meal.
So that was a damn good bucket of fried chicken and a great lunch overall. Now that fried chicken definitely lived up to my expectations, but to be honest, I do kind of prefer the bone-in variety of chicken a bit more, but still, that was a good dish nonetheless. And I just love the fact that such a fancy restaurant like the Modern has fried chicken on their menu, in a paper bucket nonetheless. It always excites me when a fine dining restaurant tries to take on a casual dish and elevate it to a certain degree. That's one of the reasons why I like the Modern, how it's almost two restaurants that the bar area can actually put courses like the fried chicken on their menu. Although the Modern isn't exactly the first New York City Michelin-starred fine dining restaurant to put fried chicken on their menu, the two Michelin-starred and sadly closed MoMA used to have cold fried chicken on their bar menu. Yeah, I'm pretty bummed that I never actually got to go to MoMA before it closed, but can't really do anything about that now. Anyways, while I went to the Modern today for their fried chicken, it wasn't actually the best dish I had. That tart was the star of the day. It was so flaky and delicious, and the flavors on top of it were so savory and wonderful. It was fantastic. Plus, I really enjoyed that banana pudding as well. That was a true delight. In fact, everything I had today was really nice. In summation, there's no question that the Modern is a great restaurant, but I just love the fact that they're willing to take risks and bring something casual like fried chicken and add it to their menu. In fact, I would like to see more fine dining restaurants do this, taking common, classic comfort foods and elevating it to a certain degree and adding it to their menus. My two Michelin-starred bucket of fried chicken and fries, as well as my whole lunch, was a great treat, and I'll certainly be back to the Modern for another great meal.